you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
I'm Moses Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, there are listening to That Makes Official. Welcome to 16 years of the Chris Voss Show. Over 2,800 episodes, almost 3,000 will hit this year. And we just keep bringing you the most amazing authors in our journey and people that will inspire you, teach you lessons, and entertain you as well. But go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss, and Facebook.com/Chris Voss.
Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not endorsement or review of any kind.
Today's featured author comes to us from bookstolifemarketing.co.uk. With expert publishing to strategic marketing, they help authors reach their audience and maximize their book success. Today we have an amazing young man on the show, and we're going to talk about his book called From Brokenness to Atonement: Faith, Hope, and Love, a Vietnam War sniper's journey and Psychiatrist bibliography, out May 30th, 2023 by Hani, Raoul, Khouzam. We're going to get into it with him and talk about his deets and some of his experience and what he brings to light with this book. The doctor received his medical degree from Cairo University, Facility of Medicine in Cairo, Egypt, and then obtained his master's degree in public health from Tulane University's School of Public Health and Tropical Medicine in New Orleans. We also completed a fellowship in cross-cultural psychiatry and international health as a Fulbright scholar of the Hubert H. Humphrey International Fellowship. He completed his residency in psychiatry at the University of Oklahoma, College of Medicine, Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences in Oklahoma City. He's board certified in psychiatry and geriatric psychiatry and is a fellow of the American Psychiatric Association. During his tenure from 1992 to 2000 at the VA in Manchester, he was the director of consultation liaison, psychiatry, and the Psychiatrist of Substance Abuse program they had there. He's an adjunct professor of psychiatry. He participated in the training of Dartmouth Medical School psychiatry students. During that period, he also supervised trained addiction medicine fellows at clinical instructor of medicine with Harvard Medical School. Welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
Oh, thank you, sir. I'm fine. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. You've offered many books and articles and chapters in the psychiatric and medical literature, and we're going to get into some of the deets on this. Hani, do you want me to refer to you as doctor or Hani during the show?
Oh, yes, sir. Whatever is preferable for you, sir.
Okay. I might just call you doctor because, in case I have a heart attack during the show, you'll be able to revive me. I want people to know. So anyway, give us your .coms, websites, emails, wherever you want people to find you on social media, maybe, to find out more about you and your book.
They can look at some book review on Amazon under my name, Hani, or just if they put my name on the internet, they'll find all the publication and the books I've written.
So give us a overview of what's inside this book.
So this book describes a journey of a Vietnam War veteran who was a sniper during the Vietnam War. But it goes through his life since he was an orphan and was raised in an orphanage run by a Carmelite nuns in New Hampshire. And then that was a very important experience for him. It shaped his life to be a caring person.
Was he a caring person when he'd gone to Vietnam, or did that kind of experience harden him?
He was a very caring and diligent person, and he went to Vietnam to serve his duty as a patriot. A tragedy occurred during his service that turned his life into a dark place that he wished he could end his life.
Oh, wow.
However, he did not believe in suicide, so he put himself in harm's way, hoping to die passively.
Really?
But this did not work.
Wow.
Until he found a light, and the light was, I can turn my suffering and brokenness into an opportunity to install hope, faith, and love in the life of other people who suffer.
What an amazing thing and journey that he went through. You know, we go through those times in life where it's kind of all about us, and we go through dark times, but sometimes we can be a little selfish about it, where we think, poor is me, you know, the world hates me, this never happens to anyone else, and the world has it out for me, I should just give up. And then they find purpose, gratitude, and gratefulness, and they realize that, you know, maybe there's a higher purpose. They can serve others and helping others go through and survive the experiences maybe they've survived, or maybe their experiences. I mean, the thing I've always found in my life is the best time to help other people and spend time serving other people and giving to charity is usually when I need the money the most, and I really don't have time to help people, or I'm trying to scramble to survive. But I've always found that those are the moments that I need to go back to my core, my base, and find what's important and restart again. And so I'm glad he shared that. Now, was this a patient possibly of yours?
Yes, so that a patient that I was called to consult on, because he had a severe motorcycle accident that injured his left eye.
Oh, wow.
So they did emergency surgery and they saved his left eye. He was very disappointed because he wished that he would go blind in that eye, because that's the eye he used as a sniper to shoot. And left eye dominance in sniper is considered a gift.
Oh, really?
But he hated his left eye and his left hand because they are the one who triggered that bullet that shot innocent people.
Mm. And did he shoot some innocent people in Vietnam? Was that his experience?
Yeah, he did not mean to shoot them, but other snipers who were jealous of him because he was the best sniper tricked him to believe that these bicycle riders were going to disseminate a bomb to kill lots of American GI. But these were innocent bikers. They just tricked him into doing it. Oh, wow. And after he did that, they told him, we wanted to celebrate your birthday, and you killed 3 bicycle riders, but they are innocent men.
Wow.
They were not carrying any weapons.
Yeah.
So the guilt and the agony of doing this haunted him all his life.
Wow. And so he was resentful of his, there's a lot of people that did come back from Vietnam that were haunted by their experience there. War is hell. And certainly the people that fight for our country as veterans and to serve, they have to deal with sometimes the very ugliness of society or the world or, war that we don't have to face. And some of the images and experiences they have of what happens to people's bodies in war and the ugliness of war and the fog of war, sometimes haunts them. And, veteran suicides are very huge and everything else. When you came across this person, I imagine you counseled a lot of people during your massive career we detail in your bio. What was about this story that stuck out and made you want to write a book about it?
So since I am a psychiatrist, and when we see veterans who suffer from the condition that this gentleman has, which is called posttraumatic stress disorder,
okay,
or PTSD, I came across him because he was involuntarily committed for treatment.
Oh, wow.
Because after he survived the eye surgery, he didn't want to receive any psychiatric treatment, but the people thought he is at danger of himself, so they said he has to receive treatment.
Oh, wow.
He mentioned that he doesn't need any psychiatric treatment, but since he was committed to treatment, he agreed to meet with me So when I met with him for the first time, he said, I don't need a shrink. I don't need medication. I'm not crazy. But if I have to meet with you, I like every time I meet with you once a month to read a book. You read the book that I will recommend. The patient said, you read that book that I recommend. And then when we meet, we'll discuss that book. These are the books that he read when he was an orphan.
Oh, wow.
And he wanted me to know how these books help him survive as an orphan.
Yeah. Being an orphan's hard. Did he ever get adopted, or did he live his whole early life as an orphan?
No, his parent abandoned him, and initially he was in a state orphanage, which was very harsh on him.
I bet.
But then they transferred him to this orphanage run by the Carmelite nun, and the Carmelite nun that you see on the cover of the book made him discover that life is not about anger and resentment and revenge. Life is about acceptance and forgiveness.
Acceptance and forgiveness. What a great lesson. What a great lesson. And when does I don't want to blow the book, because people got to order the book to read it, to find out, how it works and what the story ends up being. During that care, did you have that moment with him of clarity that he had, where he decided that he was going to use his life skills to help other people, or had he already predetermined that when he was going into therapy?
So we met once a month for 8.5 years. And each month we discussed a book that he read. The discussion with the book helped him reflect on the meaning of life, but also he challenged me and challenged what everything I do is about, which make me reflect on my own life. So the book is a parallel story of how he reached redemption, hopeful and loved, and also a reflection on my career as a psychiatrist.
Yeah. Do you think he was one of your best patients, maybe, or most interesting, maybe?
I see all my patients as teachers, and when I listen to their life story, I get to discover the value of the human condition. So I see all my patients as teachers, as opposed to seeing them as people who have mental illness that I need to cure. That's a
really interesting perspective. Probably a more healthy one, maybe. You see them as the human beings they are, instead of this is a condition I have to diagnose, maybe. Is that a good analysis?
Yeah, the diagnosis may be important, but the most important is to know who is that person that is presenting with symptoms. What is their sufferings, and what is their meaning of life, and how can they live a good life despite having pain and suffering. So eventually, if we cannot cure an illness and we cannot remove the suffering and the agony, how can we live life having these problems and consider them as an opportunity to grow and help others who suffer?
Yeah, suffering, there seems to be a lot of that goes on in our world, right? Lots of suffering, lots of challenges. I don't think anyone goes through life having everything perfect and fall into place. It may seem like that when you see them from the outside, but there's all sorts of challenges, and that's why we tell stories. That's why we have authors on the show. That's why we talk about these things. And the nun kept inspiring him to do better and be better. And I imagine somewhere in the book we find there's a lot of great stories of how he went and helped other people, maybe? I don't want to give too much away again.
One important thing is that when he was sent to Vietnam as a sniper, he discovered that there was an orphanage in Vietnam, which has lots of very poor Vietnamese children, and it was also run by a nun.
Oh, really?
So he decided some of his free time in Vietnam, he will go help and serve these orphans. But when this tragic event occurred, where he killed innocent people, that changed his life completely, and he became angry, resentful, and actually wanted to retaliate against these people who tricked him, but this did not work. So he decided to put himself in harm's way after he ended the service in Vietnam by going to Laos to try to be removing mines that were sent, hoping that a mine will explode and kill him.
Oh, wow.
But
that's a hell of a gamble.
Yeah, because then he found lots of people have lost their limbs due to the mines. So he changed his mind and decided to open a prosthetic shop to make prosthetic limbs for for victims of mines.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
But then he still wants to die because of the guilt, the survivor guilt.
Wow.
So there were lots of events in his life where he tried to put himself in harm's way, hoping to die. It did not work. But then he was discovered, loved. Somebody loved him.
Wow.
Reach out to him. And that person who reached out to him, she was a nurse that lost both her limbs in Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
And he noticed that her prosthetic limb was not fitting right. So due to his experience in making prosthetic limbs, he outfitted her limb and it became less painful for her.
Oh, wow.
But her name was Grace. So he is faith, hope, and love, and grace is what can make you carry on despite suffering.
Yeah. What a wonderful thing. What a wonderful gift to share with people.
There are other things. He and Grace eventually married, and they decided to devote their life to help people who suffer. So any income they made, they donated to help people who live in orphans. And he hated his left eye and he hated his left hand because they are the one that triggered the bullet. He started to accept them and was left-handed and always wanted to play the guitar. He learned how to play the guitar, and he, along with his wife, Grace, also formed a musical group that toured the country, and any donation given to this concert were given to orphans all over. In other words, he turned his life, pain and suffering, into an opportunity to help others.
Wow.
So he understood that the joy of giving overcome any resentment, anger, or suffering.
Wow, that's wonderful. What an inspiring thing to take and do for other people. Did you come across anybody in your, you've probably had a lot of patients. Have you come across other people who, were able to turn their life around in that same way, or does this one really stand out for you in the experience you had with this gentleman?
This gentleman changed my perspective on suffering. So indirectly, he helped hundreds and hundreds of veterans that I've seen after him who were in the same dilemma of wanting to die because they have survivor guilt or wanting to get retaliation against the people who hurt them. Although I did not divulge his identity to them, I use his life as an example to share with other veterans. This gentleman, in addition to changing my perspective on how to help people, he indirectly helped hundreds and hundreds of veterans that I've seen after him.
Wow.
To change their perspective on life.
You bring a good lesson, because we talk about this a lot on the Chris Voss Show. And we talk about how basically what you have is, we go through these crises, and sometimes we can get caught in our own pity pools and, the world hates us, blah, blah, blah. And the bigger thing, like I say, is to go find gratitude and reset your base and basically go help other people. And, when you go help and you serve other people, you find out a lot about yourself. You find out a lot about other people. And you realize that, there's other folks that have problems too, and they need help. And that can be really important in trying to change the world. And sometimes we can be a little selfish where we just think the whole world's about us and poor is me and all that kind of silliness. But in reality, going and helping, serving other people and trying to do the work there, I think is so much more better use of one's time than it is to do something else. I don't know. Would you agree?
Yeah, but it's important to mention that this journey doesn't have a deadline, and a person may not be ready to serve others because they have lots of issue inside their heart against others. Very gentle how to help them on this journey so they don't think we minimize their suffering or criticize them. In other words, we have to be very patient, accepting, and not put a deadline because we don't want them also to feel guilty. We want to tell them your suffering is true, but you have option. You want to use the suffering as a tool for resentment, anger, vengeance, which in a way deprive you from your freedom.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be stuck. Or do you want to explore gently, slowly, without deadline? Is it another journey where my life can be used as an opportunity to help others and to change the world to the best? And I don't know if lots of people during this time of the year celebrate Easter, although it's a religious festivity, but the message of Easter is not just the bunny and the eggs. It's a message of hope, because if Jesus was crucified and died and suffered, his resurrection means you can never lose hope, no matter what. So hope can be alive and not lose it, even if there is no cure or reversal of your condition.
Hope is the great thing that makes everything work so much better, and it's just a great way to go there. What other books do you want to plug? Is there any plugs that you want to do of maybe other books you've written or talk about?
There is a book I wrote that describes about 19 life story of several people who had severe medical or psychiatric condition, and they were totally hopeless and didn't want to change, and they hoped to die soon. The book is called Medical Tales and Stories of Healing and Recovery. That book, Medical Tales and Stories of Healing and Recovery, describe 19 stories that people's life was totally shattered and they were in a dark place. But they turned around this suffering into amazing opportunities.
Oh, wow. Wow. So let's see here. As we go out, give people a final pitch out to order up your book, where they can find you on the interwebs and all that good stuff.
My books are posted on Amazon and on Barnes and Noble, so they can find them there. They don't have to buy the books. They can read the review about the books. It can help them. The books are also on Kindle. So my goal is not to promote my book. My goal is to let people know there is hope. Any place you are so dark and you don't see any light out, there is joy. It comes through hope, faith, love. Redemption and joy are possible, no matter what.
Joy! It's really important to have joy, because if you don't have joy, you have to put up with her sister Margaret. Anyway, very insightful, very wonderful to have you on, sir. And what a great job you're doing. Any social media or websites, emails you want people to contact you on?
If they just look my name on the World Wide, they'll see lots of articles I published about this topic. And they can read my biography. They can read the summary of these books. I don't want people to think that I want them to buy my books. I didn't write them to make money. I wrote them to install hope and joy in people's life.
Oh, okay. That's a great and wonderful thing, right?
Yeah, and they can look me on YouTube. I have a YouTube interview and a YouTube show if they want to get more insight that anything that happened to us is not the end of life. We have a journey and we don't need to leave this life prematurely. Let's take this journey as a gift to help others and get joy. Yes.
Yes, and get joy. A lot of people need some damn joy because they need more. Let's put it that way. So thank you very much for coming on the show. We certainly really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Order up the doctor's book wherever fine books are sold. You can find it on Amazon or other given places and all that good stuff. From Brokenness to Atonement, Faith, Hope, and Love, a Vietnam War Sniper's Journey, and Psychiatrist, Bibliotherapy. Out May 30th, 2023. Thanks so much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1 on the TikTok and all those crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the most amazing, intelligent podcast ever made to improve your brain and your life. Warning, consuming too much of the Chris Voss Show podcast can lead to people thinking you're smarter, younger, and irresistible sexy. Consume in regularly moderated amounts. Consult a doctor for any resulting brain bleed.
All right, Doc, there you go.